Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to lesson 2.5.2 on repeat signs and endings. For this lesson and the next couple lessons, we're going to talk about some basic elements of form that can affect how you go through a piece of music. So normally, up to this point, we've just started at the top left and gone through line by line and just read whatever music was there. Sometimes there are more complicated paths through the music. Historically, people wrote music by hand for a long time because that's all that was available to them. And then if you had exactly the same passage up here and then, later on, you wouldn't necessarily want to write it out twice. So instead, they developed various time-saving methods that we will be taking a look at. So the first thing we're going to look at is called the repeat sign. It looks like a final bar line, as well as these two dots in the second space and the third space. So this replaces a normal bar line, and what it tells you to do is go back to the beginning of the piece of music and play it again. So, da, 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 da. So you notice that we went through bars 1, 2, and 3. We repeated back to the beginning, 1, 2, 3, and then the second time we get here, we ignore it and we keep going on, 4, 5. Otherwise, you get trapped in an endless loop and play 1, 2, and 3 until you died of natural causes. So, maybe you don't want to go all the way back to the beginning. Maybe you have a 517 bar piece and you only want to repeat a little bit in the middle. So then you can do a forward repeat sign, which looks like a repeat sign, but backwards. So it's thick line, then thin line, then the two dots. So this one would go da 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 da. Okay, great. So what if the music is similar, but not quite the same? Then you can use something called endings, where part of the music is the same, and then you have the different part you repeat back. You do the same part again, and then you end differently. So this would go da 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 da. So what's happening here is this tells you, oh hey, first time you get to this spot, play this, and then you need this to repeat back to the beginning. And then, oh, well, it's not the first time, so we need to skip over to the second time and play that. So a couple of things to note. You do need a repeat sign at the end of your first ending. It is very common to forget this when writing music. Otherwise, you don't know where to go, because you wouldn't immediately hop over to the second ending, because it's not the second time you've gotten there yet. That wouldn't make sense. You need to know where to go. It's possible, especially in older music, you might have a text instruction that says, like, 2 coda, or 2 second strain, or 2 trio, or something. But for the purposes of what we're doing, it's pretty much always going to be a repeat sign. Second thing to notice is that the first ending is closed. It's a closed bracket because it has a definitive beginning and end. The second ending just has an open bracket. It's closed at the beginning, but then you could make it go further if you wanted, but that's not necessary because the second ending, you just keep going with the music at that point. You can make ending systems arbitrarily complex, but at some point, why would you just write it out without endings? The goal of engraving is always to make music as easy to read as possible. So here we have da 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 da. I'm sorry. One more time. Da 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 da. So that's a little bit of a weird ending structure, but just follow the 1, 2, and 3, and we'll be fine. One more thing to note, you can combine endings. So here this is a first and third ending. So this would go da 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 da. Weird. And again, I would probably just write this out linearly rather than putting all of these confusing endings, but it's possible. It is a thing you can do, if you desire. I'll see you next time.